Hello, it's Chelsea FanCast. We're back, and I'm leaning probably a bit too, but I'm very relaxed about this. And I'm Jonathan Kydd. I had to look down at the script and see who I was. Mark, Charlie, Andy, Dan, and not the gaffer. Who went out to the gaffer this week?
No idea, disappeared.
Because
in action.
We didn't think he was coming last week, and then he appeared suddenly.
Yes,
Is
Is that a Spanish Inquisition?
Yeah, he just suddenly popped up. I'm not surprised to say he comes and says, "Here I am," and he puts his head up between.
No, Gaffy probably turn up in Paris tomorrow.
He probably will.
Yeah.
So here's an interesting one, just to digress slightly from Aniban Batachaji. Hi guys, and thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Since I joined in late, I was wondering if you guys are going to talk about the $5 billion TV deal. What would that mean for Chelsea and the other clubs in the league in general? I mean, it should allow us to compete with clubs like Barca and Madrid. We're not going to be talking about that, no. So
it just means that we're not going to be going bankrupt between 2016 and 2019.
And it also means we're the richest league in Europe, and we can cherry pick the best players from the best leagues.
Yes.
I don't think it'll affect ticket price.
Oh, I don't know.
No, of course it won't.
I'm not sure.
I think there'll be a freeze. They're not going to reduce it, but I think there'll be a
They're
freeze.
good at doing that, aren't they? They make a big thing of saying, no, we haven't put the prices up this year.
I don't, especially at home. I mean, we can't control the price of away games, except the occasions when Chelsea knock 20 quid off or whatever, which they've been very good at.
They do subsidise the travel.
Yeah, exactly. With this deal, matchday revenue is becoming an ever smaller percentage of clubs' overall revenue.
Yes.
To put a small reduction on tickets would be such a massive PR gain for like very little cost. I wouldn't be surprised if you. I'm not talking about a whole wide-ranging lowering, but if you saw more effort of reducing a certain section or 18 to 21.
They're good at doing the away trains, aren't they, Chelsea? That's always a very good indeed.
Chelsea are by far the best club in the league for doing stuff like that. Often I've come into work after going up to Liverpool when they said, "Well, that was a tenner." Like fans of other clubs genuinely cannot believe that a club like Chelsea puts on these trains, which they've done 5 or 6 times this season.
Yeah, I mean,
and last season I did a couple of times for the far north games.
My 20-hour round trip from Burnley was only a tenner as well.
Oh,
which was,
absolute bargain.
Every half hour, which was for bargain.
You topped it up, did you?
I did, yeah. We just wanted another hour and it would have been even cheaper.
Last season they knocked £20 off the Champions League semi-final, didn't they?
Yes.
Away in Madrid, which is, it's not like a Carling Cup third round game. It was the Champions League semi-final. They did the same at Sunderland and Cardiff. I think.
We said the same about Liverpool for the semi-final second leg. It was £25 at home for a home game, which they quite easily could have just gone. Sorry, it's a double A game now. It's £56,
exactly.
And we would have sold out. So PR-wise, it was a great gesture. Yeah.
Tactics Wizard here says costing 10.6 million a game for broadcast is ridiculous. Is that how much it's costing? 10.6 million?
More, it is. More than 11.
It's 198 million for getting relegated.
Right.
It's going to be £1,886 a second per Premier League game.
And yet.
So when you're watching West Brom v Stoke in 2019, you remember that. It's costing £1,886
because they flog it all around the world. The advertising revenue from their flogging it.
That's before that.
This is just domestic.
That's just domestic.
This is before the world.
This is just Sky and BT.
Because then you've got Fox or ESPN or whatever.
Clive Lewis says it. Clive.Lewis, I should say, says 90% of the money will go into players' pockets.
Well, you'll certainly see the first half.
And the other 10% will go in agents' pockets.
Yeah. If not more.
Aniban says as well he'd like prices to be dropped, not necessarily across the board, but at least for people between the ages of 18 to 30.
Yeah.
Why discriminate?
18 to 30. No,
that's rather specific, isn't it?
Yes. I like that. Keep it at that.
I think if they did like £10 tickets for domestic cup games or something like that.
In that case,
the Tactics Wizard said the same. The bottom
45
Come on.
So
that was us not talking about that.
Do we have anything to fear? Do we have anything to fear from PSG?
We can't take them lightly.
Ibrahimovic.
Yes, number one man.
Yeah. Luiz, will he come back to haunt us?
Luiz?
Yeah.
No.
David Luiz is going to have an absolute stormer. You can tell, can't you?
He's going to borrow his own goal, I think. Well, he probably will. He's got to be sort of a free kick, won't he?
There was somebody put on the Facebook group a comparison between Cahill and Luiz saying about how much better Luiz has been this season. But he's still a liability, though, surely.
Regardless has there been any more discipline in his play?
David Luiz,
loses games.
Outstanding talented footballer, but not a centre half. If you play him defensive midfield,
and not a defensive midfielder either.
Well, I think you could afford for him to make a mistake because you've got some cover. I mean, he's undoubtedly a supremely talented player, but I think he's got a little screw loose somewhere.
Very comfortable with the ball in his feet.
discipline is
No
lacking.
discipline.
Absolute discipline.
Other than when he's injured and plays in the Champions League final. Apparently he had a tear in his...
8-inch tear in his hamstring,
Yeah.
and he told the Chelsea physio, I'm playing.
Yeah.
I left home at 14, I'm playing, I don't care.
Yeah.
I will kill you.
Fantastic.
I think it was in the mail, wasn't it? He said,
But also what it does is it gives you a kind of discipline. You're not going to be running over the halfway line if you can hardly walk. So perhaps that's the thing to do. Perhaps he gets injured, he plays better.
Over the two games, he will do something. Whether it will be brilliant or mad, we don't know. But you can guarantee over the two games,
we'll definitely
David Luiz will be talking about him.
We'll definitely be talking about him.
The trouble is, when he was playing central defender, he thought he was a midfielder. And when he was holding midfield, he thought he was a striker.
He's still doing the same. I saw him last week when they played Lyon.
I thought he was one of the real characters of our recent history. I mean,
I love the bloke.
Yeah, so do I. I was kind of sad to see him go.
Your mail online.
Not to do something mad.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's why Jose wasn't.
Do you want to read any of that out to you? Which you're allowed to do, of course, because it's...
Because you wrote it.
No, Neil Aston wrote it, actually.
So we can move on.
Yeah.
What's the headline? David Luiz by Chelsea Hell.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean the best bits are the Champions League final stuff, and you know he says great things about the club. But you know, I think he definitely divides opinion, and we've just seen in the last kind of 30 seconds. But he's
also he wasn't got rid of. He just said he wanted to go.
Yeah,
he felt the time was right.
He wants to go, and he was probably right. You know, he wasn't getting picked every week.
Apparently, he said he was offered a contract by Chelsea.
Yeah.
I don't think he was ever hated. He just in terms of his ability, has divisive opinions on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's always, that sort of player is always going to be divisive. And actually, I think you know people seem to have this thing, especially maybe people that didn't watch once at Chelsea fans say, "Oh, you can't trust him in a big game." I mean, quite the opposite was true. You know, he had his best performances with Chelsea in the biggest games imaginable.
Yes, exactly.
And it was often when we were sort of away at Newcastle or whatever, and he was playing centre half, and you'd kind of go, "Oh, bloody hell, what's he doing?" You know,
he seemed to let the ball bounce a lot. He was very good at not going for the ball.
Him and the Champions League final were brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, and that whole campaign, that whole campaign was fantastic, and for that, you know, he'll always have a part of Chelsea history.
Both in the semi-final and the final, both said any other game against Barcelona and against Munich, they would not have played. Not for love of mate. They could not walk after 20 minutes, both of them in that in the final.
Fantastic.
And they would have both come off by it being the final of the Champions League. So to that, tip our hats, give him a good, and just hope he does shows the side of Luiz that we didn't like when he was with the club.
Kicks the ball in the net
didn't
twice.
make that many ricks. I mean, you look at his overall statistics. You know, his ricks were really kind of maybe because the Gary Neville comment of being a PlayStation footballer. I mean, I've struggled to remember any major ricks. Yes, okay, he maybe let the ball go through a couple of times, but well, not many that actually led to goals.
He
makes
there's a pic on the box there of. Are they burning a Paris Saint-Germain flag?
I'm looking forward to the old Welcome to Paris the PSG did last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to a bit of banter with that. That was quite funny.
Yeah.
Anna Banner said, "I love Luiz. I thought he was hilarious. I would have loved to see him pair up with Matic with Fabregas in front of them."
Yeah, I mean, he did actually play quite well very well for a couple of games last season when he was next to Matic. But I mean, particularly in Man City away, he was absolutely imperious and
flawless.
Jonathan Sharp says he's playing in inferior league, which is what we talked about.
I mean, a player of his talent in the French league
is wasted.
A, it's wasted, and B, it can just be allowed to run riot because half the teams like Sochaux and Rennes.
Well, he's playing with his mate though, isn't he? From the
Thiago Silva.
Yeah, Thiago.
We've got 50 million quid for him, which is unbelievable money.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's for 50 million.
I mean,
it was great business.
I wouldn't see him being first choice in this team. He'd be a fantastic.
As he wasn't last year.
He'd be an unbelievable option.
He'd be a great squad.
I mean, you say he wasn't first choice. He wasn't automatic every week, but I think for the big games he always played.
He played 30 odd games, I think.
he always played for the big games, but usually in midfield, admittedly. But no, he's definitely got a part in Chelsea history. Certainly, I think he should get a good reception.
I will. There's absolutely no reason why he won't.
So will we be happy with a draw? I'd be happy with a draw because we get him back at the.
We need to score. Because we learned from Atletico.
Score draw, yes.
Yeah,
not a great goal, isn't it? It proved that we lost 3-1, which is a bad scoreline in a normal game, but in an away game in Europe, a 3-1 is a good result because we go through 2-0. So yeah, if we score, Charlie's quite optimistic. I think it'll be 2-1 either way.
I remember in '99 when we were 3-0 up on Barcelona.
And Figo scored in the last
and we let them score right at the end, and you turned up at the Nou Camp, and there they all are with signs saying 2-0. And ended up a lot more than that.
Well, the thing is, when Flo scored, we're only like 9 minutes away from getting through.
And then
Did Babayara have a
brain fart?
Yeah.
Of course, we had the chance
Moving
to do
on.
that in the Monaco semi-final, didn't we? But certain
Hasselbank
gentlemen
at
got-
right back.
got the
Yeah.
Yeah. Got cold.
And Huth came on, didn't he, and played.
Well, Hasselbank was playing. I don't know what happened. It was almost like Ranieri saying, "You know what? I'm gone. I'm going to ruin it."
Yes.
And Jesper Gronka's cross-come shot that went in.
Yeah.
That's horrible because then Morientes scored just before half time, didn't he?
Chidge and I sat in the front row of the shed upper for that. It was rather nice.
I flew back from Scotland for that, on holiday, overnight, and went back again.
I was in Monaco, and they had a bloke, a policeman, except he wasn't. He was a fireman with one of those elaborate silver fireman's hats on,
YMCA was it?
looking at us the whole of the 90 minutes of the game with a hose and bizarrely a bucket. And I could never work out what the bucket was for.
What club were you in, by the way?
Well, he did have to stand there for quite a long time.
So you kept going to a young man.
Was it full of sand?
Would that be for fireworks, would it? If we thrown something, if we'd thrown something. What it was.
Was there a builder and a policeman there as well, or not?
The policeman. I know there were lots of policemen, but they'd frisk us when we came.
Was there an
in.
Indian as well?
An Indian.
A builder, Indian policeman, and a fireman.
Oh, you mean a red Indian with the?
Yeah.
But no, fun enough, there wasn't. So I was wearing that outfit already. So no. Trying to think what. Who was the player that we bought from United? No, been at United originally at United. Veron, yeah. Veron. I've deliberate. I can never remember his name.
One good game.
I managed to. I managed to expunge. He scored, wasn't it?
Well,
Against
Newcastle.
Newcastle, yeah.
Liverpool.
Well, 5-0.
Liverpool away. I scored him Verong.
Yeah, Veron.
1 minute.
Yeah.
How important is the Champions League to us this season?
Very.
Very.
Not as important as the league.
No.
Very true.
Nonetheless, yeah. To Jose, to the supporters, to Roman. Premier League or Champions League? What do you think?
League.
Premier League.
Premier League.
always.
League.
Definitely.
Predictions for tomorrow?
2-1 Chelsea.
2-1.
2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
We'll have them at 2-1. I think we'll win
Didn't say which way.
2-0. Good.
And away goal.
Yeah.
See you in a minute.
Are we going to come back to the Subbuteo?
Are you a special one? Have you got what it takes? It takes a lot to impress me.